Imagine, my friend. Your closest friend is hiding a dangerous secret from you, such as that she is from a family of spies, and that your arch enemy is her brother, the most skilled spy in the world. This is exactly what happened to the hero of our story, Tayou. Let's get to know the rest of the story, but first don't forget to subscribe to the channel and activate the bell button. Let's start and watch our hero, Tayou, sitting in school, being approached by 3 people, each offering to join him after school. One of them wants to play football with him, another asks him to study with him at home, and the third invites him to play karate. Tayou gets nervous and refuses, feeling frustrated. This is the 10th time that Tayou has refused to accompany them. They tell him that they have been studying together in the same class for a year, so why can't they become friends? Honestly, Tayou feels so stupid about himself that he almost faints from stress. They leave him feeling sorry for him because of his extreme shyness. Tayou hears them and says to himself that he is not shy, but rather happy that someone wants to be friends with him. But something is stopping him. Suddenly, Tayou feels something placed on his head and hears a voice saying, "It seems that you refuse to go with them as usual." This is Mutsu Sumai, his only childhood friend, who has blue hair with a white streak, which we will later learn the reason for this distinctive streak. Mutsu opens her bag. Tayou sits alone as Mitsuomi approaches him, carrying a delicious lunch, realizing that he has not eaten yet. Her looks reflect great interest in him, which arouses the surprise and jealousy of 3 students watching the scene from afar. They can't believe that Tayou, despite his aloof personality, has managed to win the friendship of the most popular girl in school. Mitsumi sits next to Tayou, expressing her concern about his isolation and unwillingness to make friends. Tayou jokingly replied, "Are you my mother?" He then inquires about why she rejected the physical education teacher's offer to take over the soccer team. Mitsuomi responds in a playful tone, "Are you my father? Let's go step by step, my friend." Mitsuomi adds that she thinks he should reconsider the way he communicates with others. Mitsuomi holds the food, as if she was about to feed it herself, if it weren't for teacher Hirakawa's sudden appearance. Hirakawa pounces on the food and devours it in front of Mitsumi's shocked eyes. We learn that Hirakawa has recently been appointed headmaster of the school, and is younger than Tayou, who always feels uncomfortable towards him and is unfriendly towards him. Hirakawa makes an annoying move, which angers Mitsuomi, who threatens to report him for breaking his promise not to repeat this behavior. Hirakawa apologizes, saying that he can't resist her delicious food, then comments on her hair and says that she is beautiful today. Mitsumi responds in annoyance and tells Tayou to leave if he has nothing to do here. He tells her he came because of his work, and he looks at Tao and says, "Your school is over today, boy, and come to my office, I need you there." Tao expresses that he does nothing, shows that he does not understand why he was invited, and then the principal leaves then with heavy steps. He continues to sing and dance as he leaves and then ends his school day. The others were trying to accompany him, but he responded shyly to them. We later learn that Tao was spending time with his family in the car and distracting himself with electronic devices, and was unwilling to let his brother play with him. At those times, Tao was active and fond of games, and his mother told him that if he could turn this passion into a sports or academic activity, he would have a bright future. However, everything changes in an instant when they have an accident. His father and brother die, and he is injured. Since then, he has become a hidden person and is afraid to get close to others and is afraid of losing them as well. At the funeral, he sits there crying and sad, but Mitsuo always stays by his side and supports him, stressing that she will never leave him alone. After that, we return to Tao as he heads to the director's office, where he finds Hirakawa waiting for him in advance. Tao tells him what he needs from him, and the director replies that he wants to show him his secret collection, which is known to be a complete set of photos of Mrs. Tsui, then asks him to add pictures of her childhood friend too. Tao secretly says that this stranger should be reported, but then he notices pictures of him. When she was 5 years old, Tayou himself seemed bewildered. How can the teacher keep pictures of her when she was young? Also, he was showing pictures of people with Mitsume, with an X on their faces, indicating that he was protecting Mitsume in the shadows. Because Mitsume is attractive, he had to get rid of all the annoying insects that tried to get close to her. The previous day, the boy named Tenkei had tried to tease Mitsuomi, showing him a bloody cell phone photo of himself and forcing him to say he would never go near her again. Then suddenly he took out a knife and put it on Tayou's neck, threatening that he had left him all that time because he was only her childhood friend. But now he had reached a point that could not be ignored. Tayou feels paralyzed. He cannot move until he speaks. Hiroko tells him that he shouldn't think too much and that he should obey orders to do this for his sister's sake. But suddenly a girl appears and saves Tayou after she presses a button and the room turns into white light. Tayou then changes, looking at Mitsuomi and the house where they saved 4 people, including someone wearing a bucket on his head, looking at him in amazement to make sure he's okay. Tayou is terrified by the owner of the bucket and jumps from his place. Mitsume reassures him and tells him not to worry. Then the owner of the bucket on a head, whose name is Nanoa, hides behind her. After Tayou calms down, we discover that they are Mitsume's brothers, and they were accompanied by a dog named Guryartek. Tayou remains confused and vague, wondering what he is talking about. Futoba asks her brother if he collected information about the drug gang that was arrested last week, and asks them, "Who do you want to eliminate?" Without asking them to tell him, he points out the location of the destructive traps. He is surprised, and Futoba warns him to stay away from Tayou. He replies to her that he won't do that because there is no guarantee that Tayou won't hurt Mitsume, and that his duty is to protect her from any danger. She tells him, "As long as you are determined to do this, then it will become a war." She grabs him by the tie and lifts him up, then throws him on the ground with such force that the ground splits from the severity of the blow. Nanao comes and punches Creech in the face, trying to distract him, but Creech gets up and attacks them with the iron spiderweb, cutting off the cup that was in Nanao's hand. Creech tells them, "Stop doing these exercises and hand me Tayou." Futoba tries to get his attention so that the rest of them can escape, but he grabs her with the iron strings and tells her, "Stop making these movements so that your body is not cut. This will be a bad thing because you are using the power of jutsu." Shion lets the rest escape so she can also attack Kyochiro, but he tells her that her level is much weaker than his. Shion responds, "Even if my level is weaker, the player should enjoy the fight until the end." Shion is attacked by drones that explode in him, but he emerges unaffected. Kyochiro turns towards Tayou and Mitsume, who is protecting Tayou and holding the dog in her hands. Kyochiro tells her, "Come to me, Mansumi, so that Tayou's blood will not stain you when I get rid of you." Surprisingly, she surrenders and goes towards him, but as soon as she reaches him, she attacks him with a knife. She did not succeed in harming him as he grabbed her hand. He knew that Kengo was the one disguised as Mitsume, and that the Tayou in front of them was actually Mitsume disguised as Tayou. Mitsume reveals herself when Kyochiro recognizes her, then asks her to tell him where Tayou is. Mitsui grabs a knife and tells him to stop all this. At that moment, Tayou is standing in the closet, watching what is happening and not understanding anything. Kyochiro raises his hands and says that he will stop, that he has lost and will not touch Tayou. He starts approaching Mitsume and says that because she left the house, insects started clinging to her, so he will prevent her from going out mainly to protect her more. It will also prevent her from using a mobile phone or anything else that might harm her, such as school, friends, and games, meaning it will prevent her from her social, personal, and recreational life. He tells her that he wishes he had been able to save her that day, and that if he were able to protect the one he loves, he would not need his soul. He holds her hand and stabs himself with a knife, then hugs her and tells her to forget Tayou and live with him in peace. At that moment, Tayou comes out of the closet and tells Kyoshiro to keep his hands off Mitsume. Tayou thinks to himself that Kyochiro is like him because he wants to protect someone he loves. Kyochiro responds to Tayou that these are family matters and he has nothing to do with it. Tayou then extends his hand to Mitsuomi, vowing to protect her as she promised him earlier. Overwhelmed with joy and shedding tears, she throws the ring to him. Before he can catch him, Kyoshiro surprises everyone and wraps iron threads around Tayou's hand and the ring. Tayou remembers how he thanked Tsui for supporting and protecting him, so he grips the ring tightly, enduring the pain, and declares that from now on, he will become her protector. After he receives the ring, he becomes husband and wife because of that ring, and the moment Mitsume embraces Tayou, Koichiro is unable to do anything, and everyone shows their joy. Futoba taunts and mocks Koichiro. Then the video ends. If you want to know more, please subscribe to the channel and activate the bell button to receive new videos as soon as they are published. I hope you liked the video and stay tuned for the next video.